Hey guys, happy new year and welcome to my brand new home. I did it, you guys. I finally moved. Going into this thing, I didn't think it would take that long, but once I started the apartment hunting process, I was so shocked. It went nothing like the last time I looked for an apartment in London. By the way, hi, if you're new here, my name is Ntwaniengomane. I'm a creator and I'm currently living in London. We all know what you came here for, so let's get on to today's video. Of October 2023, I started my journey of looking for a new apartment. I always knew that I was not going to stay in that apartment for too long. We had signed a 2-year lease and the lease was coming to an end in December, or rather January of 2024, and I knew that I would have to look for another place to stay. So why did I move? Why did I decide to pack up my stuff and go live somewhere else? No, it's not because of any conflict with my flatmate or anything like that. In fact, we actually got along very well, but I got to a point where I felt like I needed my own space. And coming into London for the very first time in 2022, the narrative out there was find a flatmate, share, it's cheaper, which it is. But I feel like I never even considered staying by myself, just because I came here and I was of the thinking and of the narrative that you need to get a flatmate, you need to stay with somebody. So after staying with somebody in a 2-bedroom apartment for like almost 2 years, you know what, I decided what's gonna make me happy is just moving out and staying by myself. And the main reason why I wanted to do that is so I could have my family over. In the past 2 years that I've been in London, my family has not been able to visit me, simply not necessarily because of accommodation issues, but I really just wanted to have them in my own space and host them in my own space without like feeling like I'm infringing on another person's space. That's the first thing. And the second thing, I'm getting old, man. Like, I'm getting old. I just want to live in my own space, do my own thing. And it was really one of my goals to experience London as somebody who lives alone in their own apartment, have my friends over, have my family over, and also allows for my creative juices to flow. There was a time where I really felt like confined. If you've watched my previous videos, you would see that I would normally record videos in my bedroom. I just didn't feel comfortable recording like videos in the lounge like this, where somebody can walk in at any time. So that is why I moved, mainly to just have my own space and to allow for my creativity to not be confined to a certain space and just to do my own thing. Of course, one of the saddest part about moving out of my apartment is leaving the area that I was living in. I was living in Wembley Park. It was really beautiful, urban areas, newly built apartment buildings, modern everything, man. It was really nice. So it was really hard making the decision to move. My first preference though was moving into another apartment within the Wembley Park area, but I just could not find an apartment that was within my budget around that area. So here are some of the areas that I was considering that maybe if you are in London, if you're looking for an apartment, you could maybe consider. I am really fond of the Northwest. That is where I was first received. That is where I stayed for the first 2 years of my life in London. So areas in the Northwest like Wembley, Harrow, Colindale, Hanger Lane was some of the areas that I was looking at. But obviously a few weeks into the search, I then realized, hang on, I'm not finding the apartment that I'm looking for. I'm not finding a modern apartment. I'm not finding it at the right price point. And we will go into my criteria in the next few clips. But in terms of searching, here is a little bit of a trick that I learned while I was searching. And I just want to share with you. I'll just put in a screen recording right here to just show you how it basically works. So when you open your Rightmove app, right, you will go to the to rent option, and in the location I want you to enter London. Just enter London. in the radius, enter within 5 miles. So that will show you all properties within 5 miles of London. Click done, and then your price point, enter whatever price point that you want. Let's say, for instance, you're looking for a place around £1,750. Click done, and then your property type. Now it depends on you, but I was a little bit picky, and we'll go into my criteria and why I was picky. So I was looking for what they call flats, but really I was looking for an apartment and not necessarily a flat. So you'll select whatever criteria that you want here. If you want to select all of them, that's fine. And then the date last added, guys, this is a very important option. So basically, if you select properties that were last added in the last 24 hours, you will see the newest properties on the market. And maybe that's what you want to do, because you want to find apartments that have just come onto the market and hopefully have not been occupied by anybody. So I will do, let's say, last 24 hours or the last 3 days should be fine. And then the type of let doesn't really matter, and then you can click search. So right before we click search, there's a furniture type here, and then you can choose whether you want a furnished or a part furnished or an unfurnished apartment. For me, it didn't really matter, so I didn't select anything. But let's say you want a part furnished apartment. You will click search, and it will literally show you all the apartments that are within the price point that you want, that are within 5 miles in London, the radius, and that are either, you know, the furnishing type that you've selected. So this is like some of the apartments that you can see right there. This is where they are, this is how they look. So that is my first tip when it comes to so yeah, you can literally see the type of apartment, you can see what's inside, the price point, where they are. These have just been recently added yesterday, recently added, you know, some were reduced, and you can basically see the price point, what the apartment looks like and stuff like that. So that is my first tip when it comes to actually searching for an apartment. The second tip that I can give you is find a letting agent within your area, or just really within London, and ask them if they have any properties that are not on the market yet but that will be going on the market. The nice thing about property letting agents is that you find apartments that are not on the market yet, so nobody knows about them, and you can literally snatch it up before it even goes on to Rightmove. Sometimes by the time an apartment goes to Rightmove, it already has so many interested clients, so many interested tenants in it, and by the time you view it, somebody else has probably put in an offer. So let's talk a little bit about my criteria and what I was looking for when I was apartment hunting all these months ago. Mine was a little bit of a strange one, but let's get into it, and let me give you my reasons why I was looking for the particular apartment that I was looking at. The first thing on my list was I was looking for a 1-bedroom apartment. I was not looking for a studio, and I was not looking for a 1-bedroom apartment that has an in-suite bathroom. I wanted a standard 1-bedroom apartment that has a separate bedroom and a separate bathroom. And this is because if my friends, if my family is coming over, I do not want them to go through my bedroom to use the bathroom. So it just made sense that the bedroom and the bathroom are two separate. The second thing was modern furnishings, and I put up a TikTok last year, I think around October, when I started the process, and I was just explaining how bad the apartments, or rather the flats that I was looking at were. And people were saying, well, it's because you keep saying apartment. There are no apartments in London, there are flats. And the distinction between a flat and an apartment is, from my perspective, is how modern it looks. So I knew, like, I was not looking for some granny flat somewhere in a house in London. I was looking for an apartment in an apartment building, in a modern apartment building with all the nice stuff, floors, lifts and everything. So that was like top of my list. I was not willing to go live in a house, in a flat somewhere. I really just wanted an apartment like I know how an apartment is supposed to be. You know what I mean? And then furniture, I was not really picky with furniture. I didn't mind buying my own furniture. As you can see, my TV stand is right there. I do not have a TV, so I am still just buying my own furniture. I really didn't mind if it came furnished or not. And then my budget, I was looking for something that's under 1.5. I was looking for a 1-bedroom that's under 1.5 and within close proximity to, as close as I can be to London, as close as I can be to obviously the city center where work is, where, you know, shopping, activities, stuff like that. Also, I was looking for a well-connected place. London is generally well connected, but by well connected I mean I didn't want to be on an overground line, I didn't want to be on a national rail line. I still wanted to be in a place that has access to the underground, simply because there are a lot of strikes that happens with overground and national rail, and I didn't want to be affected by those things. And the top of my list, I mean, of course these things were very important, but for me the most important thing after the 1 bed and modern furnishings was the fact that this apartment needs to have light. This apartment needs to be sun facing. This apartment needs to be well lit. Reason one, because I am a creator and I need all the lights that I can get. I am shooting this in natural lighting right now, so I needed a place that has high windows, floor to ceiling windows, a lot of light coming through, and I think I found just the perfect one. My previous apartment also had quite long floor to ceiling windows and it had a lot of light, and this one does as well, so 100% happy. The nice to haves though were things like a balcony, things like furniture. It would have been great, but I wasn't too mad about it. Gym, my previous apartment had a gym in the building. This would have been a nice to have. I wasn't really picky about it. I mean, I can always just go to a gym somewhere else. And then a concierge as well was a nice to have. It didn't really matter for me. So yeah, that was my criteria. So this is apartment A that I viewed first, and I got there. While I was going there, I was under the impression that this is a 1-bedroom apartment. From the listing that was given and from the discussion with the letting agent, she kept saying 1-bedroom apartment, 1-bedroom apartment. So I got there expecting to see a 1-bedroom apartment. So I got there and this is what the apartment looks like. It had a double bed. It had actually quite a bit of space in the wardrobe area, some curtains, mirrors. But the first thing that was apparent to me about this property was the fact that the bedroom was not closed off from the lounge. So the lounge is facing the bedroom, and in between is like a little wall against which the TV stands, but the sides of the wall were open. That means anybody who is in the lounge is able to see into my bedroom. And then the kitchen was fairly fine. It was quite small though, but it was really fine. But the reason why I didn't go with apartment A is the fact that it was a studio and not necessarily a 1-bedroom, and I didn't like the fact that anybody who comes into my apartment will be able to see what is going on in my bedroom because the wall is not closed off on both ends. This apartment was on the market for 1,450 per month. A few days later, I then went to view another apartment. This video was actually taken by the letting agent. I was supposed to go view it physically, but I could not make it, and the reason why is because I was doing this process so much later in the year, you guys. Like, I was almost leaving for South Africa and I didn't have enough time between work and sorting out the admin and packing all my stuff and flying out to South Africa. But I also wanted to finish this process before I left. I wanted to find an apartment before I actually left so that we can just do the admin stuff over the phone and it's not really me viewing. So this video was taken by the letting agent. And I had a call with him, I had a FaceTime with him. I saw the apartment. The important thing here is to, obviously first prize is for you to view the apartment, but if you can't, you can like video call, FaceTime, WhatsApp, whatever. So I did do that to just satisfy myself that the apartment is real and it looks like what it looks like in the pictures, but then he sent me an actual video afterwards, and this is the video that I'm putting up here. This was apartment B. Apartment B was going for 1,600 per month. So this apartment, quite nice. I liked it. I liked the black or the charcoal kitchen. I liked the lounge. The bedroom looked nice, although it was carpeted, and the bathroom was a little small. It only had a shower. And maybe what I should mention in my list of criteria is I really wanted an apartment with a bath because I love to take baths. It was not like a deal breaker or anything, but it was a very high point on my nice to haves, you know. The reason why I didn't go with this apartment is the fact that the bathroom is actually into it, so it is sitting in the bedroom, and I just did not want people who come into my house to go through my bedroom to use the bathroom. So that's the reason why I didn't go with apartment B. Also for the fact that it was above my budget. It was 1.6 and my budget was 1.5 at the time. Okay, so let's go to apartment C. Guys, I just know I'm not staying here. Like, just judging from the outside of the building. Oh, they have a cute little fountain back there. But just judging from the outside of the building, I don't think I'm staying here, but let's see. Let's not judge the book by its cover. This apartment was in the weird dodgy area that I was talking about in that previous clip. It looked a bit weird from the outside, and I just knew, like, going in there that I would not stay in any apartment in this place, simply because one of my criteria was to live in a modern apartment building, and that did not look like what I had in mind. But anyway, let me show you the apartment. So this is the apartment. It's a nice 1-bedroom. It has time storage stuff. There was a tenant living here, which made it a bit difficult for me to see the potential with this apartment, because the tenant had obviously their stuff in there, their disorganized things, you know, everything everywhere. It was just a bit difficult for me to see how I could live in that apartment. But yeah, the bedroom was very small. They had like literally it filled up the whole floor area. They had a little cupboard in there, and the one thing that stood out for me with this apartment was just the layout of it, because on the one end is the bedroom, and then you go out of the bedroom into the passage area, and then all the way around you only come back to the kitchen. So it was not open space, and they had this little round room where the tenant had put in a lot of their stuff, but obviously they would move out, so it would be empty. But like, I just didn't know what I would do with the space, you know. And yeah, the layout of this apartment was just weird. The kitchen looked so closed off from the rest of the lounge area, and like the people are sitting on this side and you're cooking on this side. It's just the layout of this apartment just didn't make sense. And also the bathroom was quite big, it was quite spacious, it was gonna work. It was a shower, but I mean, I wasn't like too mad at it. So apartment C was going for 1,650. It was a little above my budget, and viewing it and seeing all the things that I just explained right now, just, yeah, it didn't make sense for me. It was not that modern. It was, yeah, somebody else was living there. The countertops were not that modern, you know. The layout of the apartment just didn't make sense to me, and for that price point I was just like, I'm not going for that. So let's go to apartment D. So this is apartment D. The way I found apartment D was, it wasn't on Rightmove. I got onto an agent's website. So letting agents normally have their own website, and they also list on Rightmove. So I went to their actual website and I looked through what apartments they had available on that website, and that is where I found apartment D. Obviously it was staged on the website, so it had furniture and everything, but it looked really, really nice. And I arranged for a viewing. Luckily they did have a slot and I came to view it. So apartment D had very nice, when I walked into the building, it was actually new. Like, they were still constructing some of the stuff, they were finishing off. So it was a new built apartment. It was a modern apartment. close to train lines and everything. I got into the actual viewing, which is the video that I'm showing you here. It had modern bathrooms, it had a bathtub which also had a shower head on it, it had a modern kitchen, very nice. The kitchen was obviously came with all the appliances, and it had very large, this large wall to ceiling window in the lounge, and it opened up to a balcony. The bedroom though did have a carpet, which I was a bit about, because cleaning a carpet can be rough, you know, but I did not mind the fact that it had a carpet, simply because this was a newly built apartment. Nobody has lived there before, so if I moved in, I would be the first person to live on that carpet or to use that carpet. So I wasn't worried about, like, you know, cleaning, you know, the previous tenants, whatever that could have been there. So it wasn't too bad. So yeah, this was apartment D, and we opened up into the balcony. We went in there to see how it is. I really liked the wooden flooring. Like, it was not even on my list, guys. It just felt like a bonus to have the wooden flooring, to have, like, it literally ticked everything in my checklist, and I was a happy girl. So yeah, those are all the properties that I eventually did look at. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of time to view much more apartments. I would have loved to obviously keep my options open and view a lot more, but like I said, I was getting ready to live and go to South Africa, and I didn't want to do this process of viewing virtually. I wanted to go get a feel for the place, go see the area, go see how well connected it is, you know, go see if it's an area I would want to live in. So yeah, that was apartment C. So eventually, you guys, out of all the apartments that I viewed, it wasn't a lot, of course, but out of all the apartments that I viewed, I ended up going with apartment C. Apartment C won my heart. The flooring, the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, I just absolutely fell in love with apartment C. It is a new apartment, newly built. Literally, they are still finishing up some of the construction on site. I absolutely love that apartment. It ended up being below budget, actually, which I absolutely love. I just felt like God was just saying, yes, go. God was like releasing me and saying, this is what you've wanted since you were here, to stay by yourself, to have your own space, to have a space where you can be creative and not be restricted. And I just felt like God was just saying, green light, girl, go get it. I went ahead and I got it, and I am so happy, you guys. This is where I'm filming. This is my lounge. It is still very empty. Obviously, you guys can hear the echo, I'm sure. So there's just sound bouncing off the walls because there's literally nothing in this apartment. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be doing a moving vlog in next week's vlog. So yeah, hope you come back for that. I will see you guys next week. Bye.